Musk's X takeover, how he transformed Twitter into a free speech haven. Prologue: The bird in the cage. In the spring of 2022, the digital world buzzed with anticipation. Twitter, the microblogging platform that had become a global stage for voices ranging from world leaders to everyday citizens, was at a crossroads. Its blue bird logo, synonymous with rapid-fire discourse and breaking news, fluttered under the weight of criticism over censorship, bias, and content moderation. Enter Elon Musk, the enigmatic billionaire whose name was already etched into the annals of innovation through Tesla and SpaceX. Musk, a self-proclaimed, free speech absolutist, saw Twitter not as a platform but as a battleground for ideas, a digital town square that he believed was failing its democratic purpose. What followed was a seismic acquisition that would reshape the platform, ignite global debates, and redefine the boundaries of online expression. This is the story of Musk's $44 billion takeover of Twitter, a saga marked by audacious decisions, sweeping changes, and unrelenting controversy. It's a tale of firing top executives, reinstating controversial accounts, and championing transparency in content moderation, all while navigating backlash from advertisers, regulators, and users. Through real stories and voices from the platform, now rebranded as X, we'll explore how Musk's vision unfolded, the chaos it unleashed, and the legacy it continues to forge. Chapter 1: The Spark of Acquisition. Elon Musk's fascination with Twitter wasn't new. By early 2022, he had amassed a 9.2% stake in the company, making him its largest shareholder. His posts on the platform, often provocative, sometimes humorous, and always attention-grabbing, had already made him a polarizing figure. Musk viewed Twitter as a vital cog in the machinery of democracy, a place where ideas should clash freely without the heavy hand of moderation stifling debate. Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated, he tweeted on April 25, 2022, punctuating his statement with heart, star, and rocket emojis. On April 14, 2022, Musk made an unsolicited $44 billion offer to buy Twitter, valuing it at $54.20 per share, a nod to his penchant for playful numerology. The offer, described as a hostile takeover attempt, sent shockwaves through the tech world. Twitter's board initially resisted, adopting a poison pill strategy to dilute Musk's influence by allowing other shareholders to buy additional shares at a discount. But Musk's resolve was unshakable. He saw Twitter's content moderation policies as overly restrictive, citing the banning of accounts like the Babylon Bee as a catalyst for his bid. In a TED interview, he framed his pursuit as a defense of free speech, a societal imperative for democracy, though critics noted his focus seemed more on loosening moderation than combating government censorship. Negotiations were tense. Twitter's board, led by figures like Brett Taylor and Parag Agrawal, pushed back, but by April 25, they unanimously accepted Musk's offer. The deal, valued at $44 billion, was a financial gamble even for the world's richest man, whose net worth hovered around $250 billion. Musk secured $46.5 billion in financing, including significant debt, a move that would later haunt the platform's financial stability. Yet, Musk's vision was clear: he wanted to transform Twitter into X, an everything app inspired by WeChat, encompassing messaging, payments, and more. The path to closing the deal was fraught with drama. By July, Musk attempted to back out, citing Twitter's alleged failure to address spam bot accounts. Twitter sued him in Delaware's Chancery Court, accusing him of buyer's remorse amid a plunging stock market. Legal analysts predicted Twitter would prevail, and on October 4, Musk reversed course, agreeing to complete the acquisition at the original price. On October 27, 2022, the deal was finalized, and Musk walked into Twitter's San Francisco headquarters carrying a white bathroom sink, quipping, "Let that sink in." The bird, he tweeted, was freed. Chapter 2: The Purge. Firing the old guard. Musk wasted no time asserting control. On October 28, 2022, hours after the acquisition closed, he fired top executives, including CEO Parag Agrawal, CFO Ned Siegel, Head of Legal Policy Vijaya Gadde, and General Counsel Sean Edgett. These leaders, who had shaped Twitter's policies on hate speech and misinformation, were escorted out of the San Francisco headquarters. Musk's rationale was rooted in his belief that Twitter's leadership had fostered a culture of bias, particularly against conservative voices. Former director of curation Evan Hansen recalled Musk's perception that the moderation team was actively promoting liberal conversations and being partial with conservative ones. The firings weren't limited to the C-suite. Within days, Musk laid off nearly 50% of Twitter's 7,500 employees, slashing teams responsible for content moderation, engineering, and even janitorial services. The layoffs were chaotic. Some employees learned their fate via email, others were asked to justify their roles in grueling, war room meetings. One engineering manager, overwhelmed by Musk's demand to cut hundreds of workers, vomited into a trash can. The cuts were so deep that some New York office employees had to bring their own toilet paper. Musk's loyalists, dubbed the goons, stepped in to steer the ship. Figures like Esther Crawford were tasked with revamping Twitter Blue, the platform's subscription service, while others worked to align the company with Musk's vision. The cultural shift was jarring. Twitter's historically open and transparent environment gave way to a top-down, high-pressure regime. Employees who had spent years building systems to combat misinformation and hate speech watched their work unravel. Hansen lamented, "Our work is completely gone." Chapter 3, Reinstating the Exiled. Controversial accounts return. Musk's commitment to free speech manifested most visibly in his approach to account suspensions. He criticized Twitter's previous bans as overly punitive, particularly for minor or dubious reasons. In late November 2022, he began reinstating high-profile accounts, starting with Jordan Peterson, Kathy Griffin, the Babylon Bee, and former President Donald Trump, whose account had been banned after the January 2021 Capitol riot. A Twitter poll with over 15 million votes, 52% in favor, preceded Trump's reinstatement. Though Musk's decision seemed driven more by personal conviction than public opinion, the reinstatements didn't stop there. Far-right figures like Britain First, banned in 2017, and white nationalist Nick Fuentes returned to the platform. Andrew Anglin, founder of the neo-Nazi site The Daily Stormer, was reinstated within 24 hours of Kanye West's suspension for an anti-Semitic tweet. These moves sparked immediate backlash. The Center for Countering Digital Hate, CCDH, reported a nearly 500% surge in the use of the N-word in the 12 hours following Musk's takeover, with anti-Semitic, homophobic, and transphobic slurs rising significantly. A Tufts University study noted a 50% increase in weekly hate speech rates by June 2023, with likes on such posts doubling. Musk's defenders argued that these reinstatements corrected a legacy of overreach. Conservative commentators like Laura Ingraham and Senator Ted Cruz hailed the takeover as a victory for free speech, claiming Twitter's prior moderation policies unfairly targeted right-leaning voices. On X, user Benny Johnson celebrated the changes, posting on October 28, 2023, "It's only been 1 year since Elon Musk's Twitter takeover, and he's already completely changed the game on social media, fired woke CEO Parag Agrawal, fired Trust and Safety Head Vijaya Gadde who banned Trump, got rid of Yoel Roth and dissolved the Trust and Safety Council." Yet, Musk's approach wasn't without contradictions. While championing free speech, he suspended accounts critical of him, including those of journalists like Ken Klippenstein and Aaron Greenspan, as well as parody accounts. This selective enforcement raised questions about the consistency of his principles. Critics like Evan Greer of Fight for the Future noted that Musk held supreme authority over decisions, undermining his promise of a diverse content moderation council. Chapter 4, Transparency and Content Moderation, A New Paradigm. Musk promised to make Twitter's algorithms open source and increase transparency in content moderation. He announced the formation of a Content Moderation Council, with widely diverse viewpoints, to guide policy, vowing no major decisions or reinstatements would occur until it convened. However, the council never materialized. Musk later claimed activists had failed to honor a deal, though he provided no specifics. Instead, Musk introduced a policy of freedom of speech, not freedom of reach, articulated in a November 19, 2022, post. Negative/hate tweets will be max deboosted and demonetized, so no ads or other revenue to Twitter. You won't find the tweet unless you specifically seek it out, which is no different from rest of internet. This approach, described by Musk as a way to balance free expression with curbing harmful content, relied on automation to limit the visibility of problematic posts. Ella Irwin, the new head of trust and safety, emphasized this shift toward algorithmic moderation. The dissolution of the Trust and Safety Council, which had advised on policies regarding hate speech and child exploitation, marked a significant departure from Twitter's past. The move coincided with a reported rise in harmful content. A 2023 CCDH report found that X failed to remove 86% of 300 reported hate speech posts, while the European Commission identified X as a primary vector for disinformation. Musk's own posts added fuel to the fire. He shared conspiracy theories about government censorship and amplified right-wing talking points, including a controversial claim in August 2024 that civil war is inevitable in the UK, prompting a rebuke from British officials. Transparency efforts took a hit when X began charging for API access in February 2023, limiting researchers' ability to study platform trends. A Reuters survey noted that over 100 studies were disrupted as a result. Despite this, X released its first formal global transparency report in September 2024, detailing government requests for user data and content removals. The report showed X received 18,737 such requests, complying in 53% of cases. Critics argued this was a belated attempt to appease regulators, particularly in Europe, where the Digital Services Act, DSA, imposed strict rules on harmful content. Chapter 5, The Vision of X, the Digital Town Square. Musk's ambition extended beyond free speech. He envisioned X as an everything app, integrating features like audio-video calls, long-form posts, and job search functionalities. The rebranding from Twitter to X in July 2023, complete with a new logo, was a symbolic step toward this goal. Musk drew inspiration from WeChat, aiming to create a platform that could handle messaging, payments, and more. The Twitter name does not make sense if we want to be the world's information source, he explained. New features rolled out rapidly. Twitter Blue, rebranded as X Premium, offered subscribers perks like priority ranking and longer posts, up to 25,000 characters by June 2023. The platform introduced monetization options, allowing users to earn from content, and reintroduced political ads with transparency measures like public spending databases. Musk's personal involvement was intense. He often tweeted about updates, from rate limits to combat data scraping to plans for an articles feature for long-form content. On X, Musk's vision resonated with some users. Mario Nawfal posted on December 25, 2024, Police Car Light Freedom Wins, How Elon Crushed the Censorship Machine. The Twitter files exposed government collusion in censorship. Alternative voices now thrive. The Twitter files, a series of leaks Musk authorized, alleged prior management colluded with government agencies to suppress content, fueling his narrative of a censored platform, yet, the transition wasn't seamless. The rebranding shocked users and advertisers, many of whom mourned the loss of Twitter's iconic brand. User numbers declined, with global web traffic down 14% year-over-year by October 2023, and mobile app usage dropping 17.8%. Some users migrated to alternatives like Blue Sky and Threads, with Blue Sky reaching 20 million users by late 2024. Chapter 6, Backlash. Advertisers and regulators push back. The financial fallout was stark. Twitter's advertising revenue, which was $4.12 billion in 2022, plummeted to an estimated $1.89 billion in 2023, a 54% drop. Advertisers, wary of Musk's relaxed moderation policies and his own controversial posts, pulled back. Companies like Airbnb, Coca-Cola, and Microsoft paused ads, particularly after Musk endorsed an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory in November 2023, claiming it was the actual truth. The World Bank halted advertising after its ads appeared under a racist post. A Cantor survey found only 4% of advertisers viewed X's ads as brand safe. Musk's response was defiant. He told boycotting advertisers to "go F yourself" in 2023, though he later softened his tone, acknowledging their right to choose compatible content. To stabilize the business, Musk appointed Linda Yaccarino, a seasoned advertising executive from NBC Universal, as CEO in June 2023. Yaccarino reinstated a client council to woo advertisers and emphasized a "new day at X," but her efforts yielded mixed results. She admitted the role was hard on her and her family. Regulators also circled. The U.S. Department of Justice investigated whether X's chaotic environment violated data security orders, while the SEC probed Musk's pre-acquisition actions. In Europe, the DSA posed a constant threat, with rumors Musk considered pulling X from the region. Brazil's Supreme Court briefly blocked X in 2024 for failing to suspend accounts spreading hate speech, forcing Musk to comply to restore access. Thierry Breton, the EU's Internal Market Commissioner, warned, "In Europe, the bird will fly by our EU rules." Chapter 7, The Human Cost, Users and Employees. The changes took a toll on X's community. Marginalized groups, who had used Twitter to build communities and combat discrimination, faced increased harassment. The CCDH reported a 52% rise in homophobic slurs and a 62% increase in transphobic slurs post-acquisition. The Human Rights Campaign warned that X risked becoming a dangerous media environment. Pew Research found that by 2023, 68% of Democratic users viewed misinformation as a major problem on X, compared to 37% of Republicans, highlighting a growing partisan divide. Employees bore the brunt of the upheaval. The mass layoffs left X understaffed, raising concerns about its ability to manage content moderation and technical issues. Former Trust and Safety head Yoel Roth resigned shortly after the takeover, citing the unsustainable pace. Those who remained faced intense pressure. Musk's hardcore work culture demanded loyalty oaths, with employees given ultimatums to commit or leave. The chaos was palpable. Some slept in the office to meet deadlines, while others struggled with basic workplace resources. Chapter 8, The Road Ahead, An Uncertain Future. By July 2025, X was a shadow of its former self. Valued at $19 billion in October 2023, a 55% drop from its acquisition price, the platform struggled with debt and declining revenue. Musk's net worth had also taken a hit, falling by over $200 billion due to Tesla's stock decline. Yet, Musk remained undeterred, doubling down on his vision. His alignment with political figures like Donald Trump, whom he endorsed in July 2024, and his proposed role in a government efficiency commission signaled X's growing political influence. Critics like Nina Jankowicz argued that X's algorithms now privilege divisive and misleading rhetoric, creating an artificial environment that amplifies controversy. Others, like researcher Andres from ZEW, predicted a fragmented social media landscape, with platforms like Mastodon and Blue Sky gaining traction. Yet, X retained its cultural relevance, particularly for political updates, as seen in its role during the 2024 U.S. election. Musk's X is a paradox, a platform that champions free speech while grappling with its consequences. The reinstatement of controversial accounts and relaxed moderation policies have empowered alternative voices but also fueled hate and misinformation. Advertisers and regulators remain wary, and users are divided. As Lisa Jennings-Young, a former X-employee, put it, "We're all living through a vast social experiment." Epilogue: The Bird Flies on Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, now X, is a story of ambition, disruption, and contradiction. His $44 billion gamble sought to liberate a platform he saw as shackled by censorship, but the cost was steep, financially, culturally, and socially. The firing of executives, reinstatement of controversial accounts, and push for transparency have reshaped X into a battleground where free speech and responsibility collide. Musk's vision of a digital town square endures, but its future remains uncertain, shaped by the voices of its users, the pressures of regulators, and the whims of its mercurial owner. As X evolves, it stands as a testament to Musk's belief in the power of ideas, and a reminder of the delicate balance required to sustain a platform that serves billions. Whether X will soar as the everything app Musk envisions or falter under its own weight is a question only time will answer. For now, the bird flies on, navigating a turbulent sky.